Devices for me at this time? Okay, with that, welcome everyone. Sorry for the delay. We'll go ahead and call the meeting to order. Before we get started, I know we've got some new faces here that maybe haven't been to a planning commission or city council meeting. I'd like to kind of tell you the way the procedure is going to go. What we'll do is when we get to the text amendments, we'll ask staff to come up and give us a presentation. Once that's done, I'll open up the public hearing. Anyone, and the way that works is anyone who wishes to speak in favor will come up, as many people as we need. And once the folks that have spoken in favor are done, I'll ask for anyone that wants to speak in opposition. You'll come up, as many as would like to. At that point, I'll close the public hearing. We'll ask for staff's alternatives. And then there'll be commission discussion and hopefully a motion and a second and a vote. So that's kind of the way the deal works. I would ask everyone's welcome to come up and speak, but I would ask that you keep your points concise, and if someone said a point before, probably no use in repeating that. We hear you. So anyway, with that, we'll go ahead and move on. No, sir, not at this point. Sorry. Okay, we'll start with Item 2A, text amendment. Let me get my fancy glasses on here. PZ 13.1754 to Chapter 23 Land Development Code by amending Section 23.160 IL Light Industrial District. Mr. Coots.
Tom Coots, Planning Assistant. This request came before us as a response to a written request from a citizen. So that's why we have this here today. The proposed request, this would allow for wholesale and retail trade as a permitted use in the IL Light Industrial District. The findings include the text amendment will not cause a safety concern and will encourage appropriate development opportunities. Wholesale trade is only permitted currently in the CG Commercial General District. Retail trade is permitted in the CS Commercial Shopping, CB, Commercial Business, and CG, Commercial General Districts currently. The IL Light Industrial District does permit other non-industrial uses such as accommodation and beverage and food services currently. And this text amendment will allow for complementary uses to those existing uses that are allowed in the Light Industrial District. And kind of what I mean by that is, especially when it comes to the wholesale, wholesale is basically selling products to, the best example would be an industrial process that uses those products in their industrial process. And currently that isn't allowed in the industrial district, and it seems to be complementary to allow those two types of businesses to be in the same area. So really that's my presentation. Do you have any questions about this?
Any questions for staff? No. Okay, thanks, Tom. With that, we'll go ahead and open up the public hearing for this text amendment. Is there anyone who would like to speak in favor of this particular text amendment? Please come up to the front. That's okay, you're fine. And please state your name and address.
You're on TV being watched by thousands.
Cool. My name is Wes French. I actually live in Tulsa. I'm relocating here. I'm the branch manager for Airgas. We are just on the south side of town on Perkins Avenue. We're the largest, the company is, nationwide. We're a $9 billion a year company, I think. We do have a location here in Stillwater. We're wanting to move to the area we talked about, just close to, I apologize, I'm not from here. I struggle with the geography. Perkins Road and, Airport Road, that area. So we'll be over in that area. Almost as a second thought, we decided we better check on the city code, and after we just found the building we wanted, and this is where we want to be, and this is the process we're told we have to go through to get the fix. And we're currently, no one pays city tax out where we're at. It would be something they bring to the table here. So we do about, I want to say, $2 to $2.5 million a year, so out of our branch. So.
All right. Thank you.
Any questions? Or are you there?
Thank you, Mr. Rankin. Okay, is there anyone else who would like to speak in favor of this map amendment? Anyone else in favor? Okay, is there anyone who would like to speak in opposition? Anyone in opposition to the map amendment? Okay, we'll go ahead and close the public hearing and ask Tom for our alternatives.
Okay, we can find that the proposed text amendment is needed and recommend that the City Council approve the proposed text amendment as presented. Or we can find that the proposed text amendment is needed and recommend that the City Council approve the proposed text amendment with identified changes. Do you have any questions for me?
Thank you. Discussion, Commissioners?
I move we find the text amendment as presented is acceptable and move forward to the City Council for recommendation.
Second.
Motion and a second to find that the proposed text amendments are needed and recommend that the City Council approve the proposed text amendments as presented. Please place your votes. Get there?
Yes.
Okay, that passes with 4 positive votes. Okay, we'll move on to the next item on the agenda. Text Amendment PZ 13-1755 to Chapter 23 Land Development Code by amending Article 5 Use Categories and Limitations, Division 3 Use Limitations by adding Section 23.114 regarding recreational vehicle RV use in the MH Mobile Manufactured Home District and Section 23.143 MH Mobile Manufactured Home District. Tom?
Tom Coots, Planning Assistant. This also has been brought forward to you in response to a request from a citizen. The proposed text amendment is very similar to a provision that was allowed in 2010. It would allow for RVs to be located in the mobile/manufactured home district with several restrictions. There are 20 restrictions before you, and this would be for a temporary period is what we're looking at. The proposed text you have before you hasn't set a specific date. We're hoping to get that. If you send this forward, we're hoping to get an idea from you all what type of time period we're looking for. The staff findings include the text amendment will not cause a safety concern and will encourage affordable housing options and encourage economic growth. RV parks are allowed with a specific use permit in the CG General Commercial District. A similar provision allowed for RV housing for approximately 1 year. That was the provision that I was speaking of from 2010. The continued growth of the oil and gas industry in the region has increased the number of workers needing temporary housing. The oil and gas operations are expected to remain active for several more years. And existing RV parks around Stillwater are currently at capacity. So with that, do you have any questions for me?
I don't at this time. Anyone else?
No.
Okay, thank you. Okay, we'll go ahead and open up the public hearing. Is there anyone here who would like to speak in favor of this text amendment? Yes, sir.
I'm not going to see it.
Uh.
I had him write that up for me. I only try to.
Please come up to the microphone if you will. We've got people at home that would like to hear it. And name and address, please, sir.
Rick Kramer, 810, the trailer park's at 810 South Dorado. I live at 77 East 6th Wooden Lane.
Thank you.
And I own the trailer park at 810 South Dorado. I've only got like 10 or 12 empty lots, but I've had so many companies call me wanting to move RVs in. They want to rent a trailer house and put an RV next door to it. And they wanted to hook it up that way, and I said, I can't let you do that. The city's got to pass the code. So that's why I'm here today, is try to get some RVs in there and help them out. Because I've seen all the parks are full. And I'm willing to work with all the RV parks around. That's it. Thanks.
Thank you. Okay, is there anyone else who would like to speak in favor of this text amendment? Anyone else in favor? Okay, seeing none, is there anyone who would like to speak in opposition? Okay.
I'm Doug Smith. I own Wildwood Acres RV Park just out east of town off McElroy. As to couple of years ago when they opened this up. The city has prevented RVs from being in town. We have built our businesses outside of town because of your ordinance. To open up mobile home parks at this time would hinder our business. We have supported the city, for myself, for 10 years. There are other parks that are currently under construction to take care of this problem. And there are those of us that currently own parks that have planned expansions that, because of what happened 2.5 years ago and this currently, have decided to curtail doing that expansion until we find out what the city's going to do. Because if the city opens up for mobile home parks within the city of Stillwater, bottom line is it's going to put us that have been forced to open our business outside of town out of business. Because people, of course, would much rather be in town than outside of town. Now, on the flip side of it, 2.5 years ago when Price Gregory was in town, we had an influx of 300 RVs. I completely understand that these people do need some place to go. We do not have that kind of capacity available currently as RV park owners within the area. I think I pretty much speak for most everybody here in the room, because I think everybody here is, for the most part, is an RV park owner. If they're going to do this, limit it as it was done 2.5 years ago. Put a 1-year sunset on it as it was before. Put the same regulations on the mobile home parks, that they provide the same type of services for the same rent amounts that we do as well, so that they are not able to undercut our business and affect our incomes. Because currently there is, within the mobile home parks in the area, somewhere plus of 400 empty lots in mobile home parks. They can absolutely take up the void, but they could absolutely put us all out of business if there's not some type of a control put on it. And there's currently 2 new parks being opened. One of them's due to crack open for business in July. Another one in August, and I've got an expansion I've put on the back burner because of this. I know Mr. Whitehead has done the same, and from speaking with most of the RV park owners, those that have expansions planned are second thoughting them now because of this. You know, we've been supporting the Stillwater community for a lot of years, and to allow the mobile home industry to basically put us out of business would not be right. Thank you.
Mr. Smith. Appreciate it. Is there anyone else who would like to speak in favor, or I'm sorry, in opposition to this text amendment?
My name is Eddie Whitehead. I live at 2929 South Perkins Road. I opened my RV park basically because I knew this expansion was coming. I was in the oil field business many years. I'm a pipe fitter and a welder. I own 11 acres south of town and planned, when I built the first phase of it, to go on with 45 more spots right beside it. We bought and purchased all of the pedestals, the meters, the best that there is. When we put our park in, we put 4-inch water lines underground with 2-inch uprights. So when 30 people took a shower at one time, nobody got scalded. Everybody had the same water pressure. We did our RV park better than any in the United States, or at least as well as anyone else has ever tried to do it. We've never had a problem except with the city. Their water system, using asbestos-lined cement pipe that continued to burst and continued to burst over the time. Other than that, and the exorbitant rate that they charge us, 3 times as much as they do in the city for water, twice as much or better than 3 times now as much for electricity. So we're at a great disadvantage when you open up this thing to the city so they can have the internal workings of the city working for those people, whereas you guys penalized us. When the current city manager came to office, his first thing he did was get the RV park people out of Stillwater. They passed that resolution when he came to office to get the RVs out of Stillwater because he didn't want that kind of trash in his town, was his exact words at that time. Now you guys are all malevolent, want to jump right back into that again. There are people, there's people that he doesn't even know about. Brixie's that have a gorgeous place down here on South Washington's opening up a large park next to Brixie's Pond. It's a great place for families and stuff. And all these people that are doing this, they're not doing it just for the pipeline. We're doing it for everyone else too that comes to Stillwater. I have students in my park that have lived there while they intended and went right through and graduated. And to take these, you're killing us. You know, all of us go out and we expand our parks, want to do all these things. And the last time this thing was passed, it was going to be a year. It was 19 months before you finally turned the thing off. And that had to be brought to light by by Doug and others. We had to go before the group to tell them, you know, you need to stop this. These people are gone and they're still living in town. And I don't feel that you guys are being fair to the people who pay bills to the city, who bring these people here. This isn't our first time. I've got people back that worked in this pipeline 2 years ago that are in my park that'll be here until they leave. And they're happy with what they've got. And most of them don't really want that internal town thing. They like it out away from town. And when you get out west of Stillwater, get out east of Stillwater, get out north of Stillwater, they're still not close to town. When you get out on Jardeau, you're further out of Jardeau from town than you are at my park to town. And I just feel like that you're doing a very unfair thing by not, you know, at least having a conversation with us before this all gets to this stage. What my question was going to be a while ago was, you said here that nothing's going to happen and there'll be no just discussion. Nothing will be voted upon. Nothing will be passed at this time. Your words, almost. And you've already done a deal and already recommended something.
I guess I don't understand that, Mr. Whitehead.
Well, on here it says, no planning commission business will be discussed or otherwise acted upon at this time.
That's during the dinner portion.
Oh,
That's from 5 to 5:30.
I want to add that we did not get dinner tonight.
Yeah.
Well, it also says that on here also. That's why I didn't understand
no-
that to be
no
part of the dinner
We
conversation.
meet at 5 o'clock, so we
Well,
can
I understand you
get
guys.
some water.
So that's a clarification.
Okay, that's all I was wanting to know.
Yes, sir.
Now, I would like to know what your business is in Stillwater.
What I do?
Yes.
I own a construction company.
All right. What do you do, sir?
I'm the director of long-range facility planning with Oklahoma State University. I help manage all the construction on campus.
Good. What do you do, sir?
Work local office supply on Merrifield office supply downtown.
Okay.
Funeral director with Palmer Marler Funeral Home.
With what?
I'm a funeral director with Palmer Marler Funeral Home.
Okay. You guys have done some business with my family. I just feel like before you guys get to making recommendations about doing this, that you realize that there's a lot of people. If you weren't doing this right now, I would have equipment on the ground. Because we bought all this 2.5 years ago when we built the first part of our park. And it was all set up when the DEQ came out and inspected how much water, how much sewer, all of this. We did all the stuff that was necessary for 90 spots. And we own everything to put 90 of them in the ground. And that was a tremendous burden put on me at that point. But we had a 2-year expansion thing. And when 2 years came along, you guys just bang, and all of a sudden it was a done deal. And you let everybody into town. There weren't 300 people came with the last go-round. There weren't 300 of them here. There were less than 230 of them that came in mobile homes and transport of that type. And today, there's enough in the expansion that's already here to cover that. I have 5 spaces open, and we have spaces that open, and every park here's got spaces that open daily when somebody moves somewhere else, because these guys don't stay local here. They come out of Enid, they're here for 2 months, and they go right back to Enid to work. And they move back and forth. And we've been able to supply that, and all they have to do is call an RV park, okay? And they know that there's RV spaces, okay? That's all I have to say.
Thank you, Mr. Whitehead. Okay, is there anyone else?
I would like to address one more issue that Ed mentioned too, that he did not finish,
Go right ahead.
that I had forgot about. The fact of
Speak into that, Mike.
the fact of the RVs, when they were here the last time, the enforcement issue. 3 months after the sunset was up and pipeliners were long gone, there was 18 RVs that I counted in just the main mobile home parks in this town that I had to go upstairs to enforcement and say, hey, look, this is not done. These people are gone and you still have RVs. You're not enforcing the sunset that was put into this. And I actually had to come enforce the issue, go to the city attorney and raise a stink, threaten to bring my attorney involved to get them to actually enforce it. We should not have to do that. You know, if we're willing to step aside and let them do this, and the mobile home parks put these places in to deal with the surge, then at the least, when the sunset is up, they should take care of their end of the bargain. And the city should enforce that. And I think if they're going to do it, they should put a limit on it for a year and let these new parks get opened, the expansions get done, and look at what the RV park availability is currently. Currently, there's 10 RV parks. There's more than 10, but there's 10 major parks within the Stillwater area, and there's more coming. And I'd like to make sure that that's addressed anyway.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Smith. Okay, is there anyone else who'd like to speak in opposition? I'm sorry. All right, I'm sorry.
Can you please come to the podium and give
Yeah.
your name and address, please, whether you're for or against? 'Cause,
Yeah.
audience.
Steve Blansett. I live at 3 Grant Road, Morrison. I own Yearling RV, which is north of here. We have a lot of folks from Stillwater that stays with us. The thing that I'm seeing here is a big opportunity for this business to expand. What I'm seeing in this is that when Two Rivers comes in, they bring a large number of people. When that job's done, laying that line, they're gone. So you see an inflow and an outflow. And these people that own these parks are trying to expand to accommodate this. And until it's proven and looked at that you don't have the opportunity to take care of this, I think this is premature until we're full and you can't house them. But here's a chance for these parks to grow and expand, and this is going to put a damper on it. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Blansett. Okay, anyone else? Yes, sir.
My name's Leon Hicks. I live at Golden Oaks Drive, can't think of the numbers on it. 2724 North Golden Oaks Drive. I've recently opened up an RV park and things, and I have spots available. We got 20 stalls, and we still have 6 or 8 that are available. I kind of feel like, you know, I was here and I own a bunch of rental property also, duplexes and things, about 25 buildings of them. And I know that people come and go. Out of those 50 units, I've only got one oil field related person living in those. All the rest of them are families, local business people here in town, attorneys, doctors that live out there. The circumstance is I truly think that you're kind of jumping the gun. Yeah, I know that Devon's come to town, they've bought property, and I know different outfits here in the oil field has come into town and things. But yet I haven't seen really all the parks to the max and things. I've not seen that. I'm not even seeing all of my rental property, to be quite honest, to the max in full. And I know that there's, to be quite honest with you, what is there? I don't know how many units of apartments are supposed to be built up north of town by Merck Cruiser, but driving by there's an awful lot. I know that, there's 2 or 3 other apartment complexes being built also here in town. I still don't see the max on all those all full. So I really don't think that, breaking this law or whatever you want, ordinance, stopping it and letting them all come into town is going to really hinder or hurt, because if those folks, even if they can't find RV spots to live in, with all the apartment complexes and stuff that are here, I'm sure, and those that are coming into town, I'm sure they can accommodate housing for folks at a reasonable price too. So I don't think opening this ordinance up is going to really do you any more good or work or help as far as that goes, with all the other construction going on. I know there's a lot of apartments being built right now, and I just think you ought to consider all those housings being set too, because that's money that's already, as far as city, water, sewer, all that stuff, gas is already to all those places, and the valves got to be turned on there too. So before you open it up, a bunch of RVs coming in too. So that's all I got.
Thank you. Okay, is there anyone else who would like to speak in opposition to this text amendment? Anyone else in opposition? Okay.
My name is Calvin Oyster. I have Cedar Crest RV Park west of Stillwater, and I live at 714 North Redlands in Stillwater. My only comments at this point are just kind of in a reminder capacity that the ordinances that you're talking about, basically we're trying to preserve a certain image that Stillwater wanted to present to people coming into town on a permanent basis, that the mobile home parks were not transient type stops, and they weren't, for short-term stays. They were to be created with a certain degree of permanence, even though they were mobile homes. It was just to be that Stillwater wanted to present an image that things were done by design and done in a fashion that maintained a nice image for the city. And we did do this on a short-term basis last time, because they did indicate to us that 600 employees were looking for housing on a short-term basis that would, overpower us as far as the mobile home parks. As far as the RV parks, and what really came to pass is that with all projects like the pipelines, they come in phases, and the first crews come in and do their job, and they do move on in crews, and they do move on in segments, and there were never at any particular one time 600 new inhabitants looking for space. We did stay very much occupied, and it was the thing to do, as far as I'm concerned, to allow that to happen, to let those people come into Stillwater and to the mobile home parks, to accommodate them and give them a place to stay during that time, because we were over capacity. And it's true that there are several new parks being added all around us right now for RV spaces in very rapid succession, because they, just as they said those crews would come in and stay a long time, it didn't last that long. This time they're saying these guys are going to stay even longer, because they're the drilling crews and they're the more long-term type projects than just one pipeline. But the truth of the matter is that they'll be coming and going in phases as well. And there is an overcapacity need right now. And probably, it's the thing to do to go ahead and look at whether or not to open up the mobile home parks again for a period and see, if we can accommodate these people. But I think it's prudent to stay with the principles that were set forth in developing Stillwater to try and maintain the standards that you created. And I do think it needs to be reviewed at least yearly and come back to it and say, are we meeting that need now? Have those crowds thinned out? Do we need to return to a standard for the longer term? And I think that's fine. But, I would just caution you to try to keep in mind that we did do this on a basis of long-term investments for all the properties that created these RV parks. And we've done them, based on what happened and what Stillwater wanted to see happen as far as development. So, yes, we do have an interest in a long-term consideration for that. And I think we can accommodate both groups comfortably and do hopefully a service for everybody. So I would just urge you to, try to look at it in that term, not just say, yeah, we need to open it up and let it go, because it does need to be monitored. Thank you.
Calvin, how many spots do you have that are open right now?
Open, probably one. And, it's once again, it's true, they're just on a rotating basis, though. I'll probably have 3 to 4 open up a week, but right now I can fill them in a few hours probably. But there's also a new park being built across the road from me. So.
Thank you. Okay, is there anyone else who would like to speak in opposition? Really short, Mr. Whitehead, if you would. I usually don't let people speak twice, so please do so.
My only reason is that if this weren't coming on the table, I had this terrible feeling this was going to happen. That's the reason we didn't go ahead and build this park bigger already, because we already bought the equipment and had all these plans in the box. And you guys pulled this on us 2 years ago. I didn't do it. I told Calvin, I told everybody here that's in the RV business, if I know for a fact the city's not going to dump this on us again, I'll go ahead and put this much more into the park, which will make like almost 90 spots. Right now I have 4 open. I'll have 7 open tomorrow. I have 3 people that are moving back to Enid. These people move back and forth. They do not stay here. There is no large company coming to town that's got a need this kind of thing of moving into the city. Okay?
Thank you. Okay, anyone else who would like to speak in opposition? Anyone else? Okay, seeing none, we'll close the public hearing and ask for staff's alternatives.
Okay. Before we get too far into the alternatives, do you have any questions for me right this time? Okay. Have 4 alternatives this time. Number 1, find that the proposed text amendment is needed and recommend that the City Council approve the proposed text amendments as presented. Or we can find that the proposed text amendments are needed and recommend that the City Council approve the proposed text amendments with identified changes. Or we can find that additional information and or discussion is needed prior to making a recommendation, so either continue the consideration to a certain date or table the consideration until additional information is available. Or we can find that the proposed text amendments are not needed and recommend that the City Council not approve the proposed text amendments. Do you have any questions for me?
Any questions for Tom? Thank you. Okay, Commissioners, discussion?
Dusty, if you've ever gone over to Cushing, we've delivered a lot of furniture in there, and there's a lot of going on in this area economically. First of all, when you say you guys, I wasn't on here but a year ago. So.
Well, but you're making the same.
No, I'm sorry.
I'm joking, but
I'm not.
But anyway, it's a double-edged sword because there's an economic impact that is kind of fruit on the trees that we need to harvest as we can, and there's a lot of business people that want to see these guys live in Stillwater as opposed to Cushing or Drumright or things like that, and there are just hundreds and hundreds of them over there. And I've talked with them and visited with them, and I sense from our discussion tonight that there is a need, but business people have to be able to plan around the government, and uncertainty is going to be a part of every part of the thing, but it's a difficult thing because there's a lot of people that have talked to me that have voiced an opinion that want to see these payroll dollars flowing through the city of Stillwater and going out to eat and doing the things that they do. But I do respect very much and understand the RV proprietors' positions on this. But I think that for me personally, I sense that there is a need. I don't want to see Stillwater as a community lose out on potential dollars of economic impact because I think we all are enjoying them either directly or indirectly. When I go make money, I go spend it somewhere else or something. But for that reason, if we did make a decision, I would definitely I do have a question for staff or attorney. What is the trigger if this were done with a sunset? What is the trigger that prevents that from occurring or from passing again, John? Do you understand my question?
Sure. It has a sunset provision, and it is designed to expire on a date certain. And on that date, the authorization expires, and whatever vehicles that would be remaining in the trailer parks after that date would be illegal. So that becomes an enforcement issue at that point. You can also, in the context of having a sunset provision, have a review date scheduled before the sunset provision would be effective. So the council would have to revisit it, this board and then the council would have to revisit it at a date certain before it expired to decide whether or not it needed to be extended or not. So there's a couple of ways to do that.
That's my comment.
Well, I might add, I think the last time that we had this come before us, it was a more unique situation. Whether it was 300 or 600 or 200, I mean, we knew there were going to be an immediate influx of folks with places to live. So I kind of feel like this issue tonight is somewhat different than the last time. I do understand that, we've basically forced the operators of parks such as you guys out of the city limits. I understand that. And, again, I don't know truly what the need is. Do appreciate knowing that if you guys don't know what the future holds, it's tough to throw dollars to expand your business if it keeps coming back and forth. So I guess my feel is without a known need, as in pipeline company coming in with X amount 2 weeks from now, I don't know that there is a true need, and therefore I don't know that it's in all fairness to the folks that operate these parks that we put them at that disadvantage. If we knew there were 1,000 people coming tomorrow, yeah, I could get behind that theory more. But I don't think it's the same situation as when we had this text amendment last time even with the sunset on it. So I guess my first blush is I would basically like to see if everything we're hearing comes to fruition, if these folks are willing to put the dollars in, if we make ultimately it's the city council's decision, obviously. We can only make recommendations, but you know, it kind of works both ways, you know, I mean, if they're willing to fill the need or the potential need, then I think they should be given, you know, the right to do that. They've already made large investments.
Commissioner, I agree with your statements. I think that we ought to not recommend the city council to make any changes in this text amendment is my position. I think until there's a known need out there for a significant amount of people moving into this area, that we don't change our current ordinances.
I have a question, Chair. How can we're sitting up here making a decision without knowledge of the data? And my knowledge of this data comes from on-site down there at TransCanada Pipeline and Cushing and a lot of this kind of stuff. And my knowledge of the data comes from going through the first oil boom and bust that when we started our business in 81 and 82. So I've seen this before and know how quickly it can end, but is there to protect the businesses of Stillwater from not losing out on dollars that might have come their way if we do not make this decision? And I like the way you're thinking, in other words, siding with people that have been told something by the city. What can trigger this to come back before us? What triggered it this time, Tom, is it, if I might ask?
This was brought before you at the request of a citizen. That was actually the person who spoke in favor.
But I'm concerned, you know, we've had one citizen. But I am aware of what's going on in the oil field through our business. Our office supply business sees an impact in a big way of what's going on out there, and that has to involve a lot of labor. But my concern is if we were to go this direction where we do not open this up, and we were to become aware of some information that would make us feel like we may have done a bad thing for the city of Stillwater to accommodate a growth opportunity and economic opportunity that affects a lot of people, hundreds and hundreds of people that are not here tonight, what would prompt that to come forward?
Well, I think maybe, Joe, you could, finding 3 says that find that additional information, or alternate 3 says find that additional information or discussion is needed prior to making a recommendation. So either A, the consideration to date, or continue the consideration to a date certain, or table the consideration until additional information is available. So, theoretically, we could basically, say, okay, 6 months from now, we would like to look at this situation again, if that's a concern. It's still not necessarily passing it, but it would at least be looked at.
But it's tough for these guys who want to know, they want a little firm foundation from us to know that they can expand.
Sure.
And we have been ostentatious enough to put them out of city limits. We've given them rules to live by that they've done, and I think it would,
Sorry, I can't.
I'm not interested in having the information right now. I think that we have an opportunity to support the businesses that are already here. I think that something that has gone unnoted is the number of hotels here that are full of oil workers as well. I mean, I know Holiday Inn has an entire floor that they rotate every 12 hours with Halliburton employees that, that's a business that's already there, and, it is poised to handle that. And the mobile home parks here in town have been, all along they've known the rule is mobile homes will be here, and that's what they plan to be supported by, is mobile homes and not
Commissioner,
RV.
you want to make a motion, and then we can have some more discussion after your motion?
I'd like to make a motion that we don't amend the text and go with what we have.
I'll second that motion.
Okay, motion and second. Further discussion, Commissioners? Okay, we have a motion and a second. Let me make sure that the motion is clear. I'm assuming it would be alternative number 1, Commissioner Marlar. Find that the proposed text amendments, I'm sorry. find
Number
that-
4.
Number 4.
Please read number 4.
I think I need to put my glasses down. Sorry,
Don't mean
guys. Find that the proposed text amendment, number 4, find that the proposed text amendments are not needed and recommend that the city council not approve.
That's what I was trying to say, Commissioner.
Okay,
Absolutely.
thank you. Okay, motion a second. Please place your votes. Okay, that is approved with the unanimous members that are here. That the recommendation is not to move forward. Thank you. Okay, next item on the agenda, I'm sorry. Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, that's a good point, Cindy. It will still go to city council because it'll be on their agenda, but with the recommendation. Sorry, sir.
when that will go to city council?
When is that slated for? July 15th. That should be a Monday night, I believe. 15th, yes. But it'll be our recommendation not to approve the text.
By then, there'll be one more park open.
All right, thank you. Okay, we'll move on to the next item, approval of the minutes for June 4th,
Move for approval.
2013. Do I have a second? Motion a second to approve the minutes. Please place your, wait just a second. Please place,
Ready, set, go.
there we go. Please place your vote. The minutes are approved with one abstention. Will that let us approve those minutes? Okay.
Yes.
All right, thank you. Moving on to next item, miscellaneous items from staff for discussion and possible action. Our next planning commission meeting will be July 2nd, 2013. With that, the next item is adjournment.
Move to adjourn.
Second.
Motion a second. Please place your vote. And we are adjourned. Thank you.